All right, let's get down to business, babies. That's right. Well, we got some housekeeping to take care of first. Okay, babies, let's go. Let's lilies, lads, lords, my lovelies, my garden keeps growing and growing and growing because of you, and I love all of you. But listen, we're at 89, baby. Guess what? Tyrone can start making. Listen to this now. Tyrone can start making $5 in crypto spirit currency. Once we get to like 1,000, so like, we keep pushing. We keep pushing. It's not a joke, guys. Listen, we can do it. Even though it's gonna be a really long fucking haul. Oh my god. Like that's a long. I'm like, listen, MD ain't the smartest spirit guide in the world. Like, well, you know that, but even I know this is fucking impossible, guys. But we keep pushing. Just like my dad would say, he would say, "You go, son. You go over the cliff." That's what it. I don't know why I'm laughing about that. That's pretty fucking sad, but I guess I'm learning acceptance through my class too. I guess. Well, I appreciate that, guys. I appreciate it. We definitely are 89. I appreciate you keeping track. Um, but I wanted to get into what we're really trying to talk about is BF on a stand. On Stanley? No, not you, Stan. She ain't on Stanley. Oh my god, I can. Oh, ooh, baby. No, anyway, Stanley. Remember what happened before. Alright, I'll shut up. I'll shut the fuck up. Alright, I'll shut up. I'll shut up for now, anyway, you prick. Alright. BF on a stand, right? You get her on a stand. In part 2. Okay. She's important because she's the silent one, right? That okay, that's where we're going to start on this piece, right? She's important because she's the silent one. Compared to Dylan, who is the... Now, this is all my opinion, okay? Do I have to fucking say that in every goddamn video? This is all my opinion, if that isn't obvious. I think it's pretty fucking obvious, man. But you keep going, you keep going. But anyway. But she's the silent one. So, it makes her mysterious. It makes her, makes you question. It makes your imagination go bigger, right? Because you just don't know much compared to Dylan, right? Dylan is the prime. Remember that, guys. In our world here, in my world, with you, my babies, and my lovelies and lads and lilies and lords of the land, right? Dylan is always the prime in the center of this universe that we're in right now, okay? Now that hey, fucking disagree with me, whatever you want to do. I think other creators, I'm not going to say, well, we'll get there. They're going to, they're always going to come back to this. So, and I've been there. Now, maybe I haven't been doing this shit for 2 years, but I've been saying this now forever. Anyway, not the point. We're getting there. Anyway, the silent one, mysterious. You don't know exactly. Again, she's the Hobbit, right? She's the Hobbit. I mean, I'm not going to call her an elf. Is that more appropriate? But no, I just call her the fucking Hobbit. I mean, she is kind of elfin-like. That is interesting. If you see pictures of her, it's weird. She's elven-like. Anyway, think about that, my Hobbit friends. Look at pictures of her. She does look like kind of an elf-ish, right? She has elfish features. It's kind of interesting in some of those pictures, right? Interesting. Maybe that's why we call it the Hobbit. I don't know, guys. One thing I want to ask yourself, all my lovelies and lilies, maybe what everything I'm doing is just one big subliminal. Okay. Just want you to ponder that. Ponder that. I mean, even the music may not be accidental, but it may be. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Master Nature. Before you start freaking everybody out, can we get back to the point of what you were trying to fucking say? Do I have to be the fucking grown up here, Master Nature? I mean, maybe the garden has gone to your fucking head. Is that the case, Master? I mean, do we have to have some sort of intervention here about your ego or something, Master? Yeah, you know that, Tyrone. Tyrone. I think you're right about that. He seems his head's got a lot bigger. Yeah, Tyrone. I think we need to do an intervention. I think. Guys, listen. I'm always in control. Always in control. All right? Just chill. Chill. You're my spirit guides. Remember that? All right. Do you want bread or not? I mean, hey, you got to play the game. A little bit. So, of course, you'd want to, you'd want to establish that they were both together, her and DM, the entire night. You want to definitely establish that. Of course. Now again, going back to what we said in the short, we don't know her grand jury testimony. She could have divulged that she was staying in a hotel, but again, that would make Dylan. Then that wouldn't make any sense, because then Dylan would, her entire story is a lie, right? And why would you have Dylan concoct a story then? Right? I mean, it don't make, again, then we go into the mud. Maybe that's why I keep going back to this, because because if Bethany is in a hotel, then why are they trying to play it off like they're both in the same in the house? Why would they do that? I don't get it. You know what I mean? Like, why would they then try to play it off as, yeah, Bethany's in the same she's in the house with Dylan? That doesn't make any sense. Why would they try to play it off like that, or try to make it seem like that? I don't get it. Her texts are, well, how do you put it? Her texts are bizarre. That's all I can say. No, I mean, her texts are interesting because there's tone shifts, even though, you can't tell tone, right, in a text, but there's definitely shifts that happen in the texts. You can't call them tones, all right, I guess, in a literal sense. You can't hear it, but when you're reading it, it's more like, I don't know. It's weird. It's more like what's the word I'm looking for? Not verbal. Yeah, like verbal shift. Kind of. Not like, sort of like that. But anyway, there's shifts in her texting. And there's vagueness. There's vagueness in her texting. To a degree, when it comes to, this is strange. It may not mean anything, but just real quick, come to my room. Okay, right, come to my room. Okay, come to my room. Now at this point, you're like, all right, come to my room. Then we go to run. See, come to my room, run, shift here. There's a shift here. It's not tone, but what is this? There's shift, right? Come to my room, run, action. Come to my room is an action, but now we're imploring now, right? Run. I'm imploring you. But then we go to this. Down here. What the fuck? So yeah, this is what I'm talking about. So it's like there's weird shifts and then there's vagueness. And so you read this and it's like, come to my room. Okay. Run. Down here. Like, again, when you say down here, doesn't make sense. I mean, unless she was, I don't know, what would you explain that as? You know? Because again, it's not logical to say this. And I know, oh God, it's so fucking irritating, this fucking case. But this isn't logical to say. Right? I know where you are. I know what house we're in. I know where your room is. Again, we go back to that. It's not logical to say down here. Fucking hell. See, then people say, well, that's because she means that they're in a hotel. All right? If that's true, then why did Dylan make up this whole entire story? Right? She made up a whole entire story about being in the house and seeing the masked man, the bushy eyebrows, and then, whatever. The fucking bandit, the fucking Smokey and the fucking bandit, and, the fireman and the chief and the fucking Smokey the bear, everybody else. So why? Right? Why would you have to then concoct an entire storyline? Don't make any fucking sense, guys. Come on, think about it. Anyway, so you got BF on the stand, right? She's on the stand now. You got her. Dead center. What are you going to do? She got to come back, right? She's got to testify, right? She does, right? That's a question you have to ask. She has to. Yeah, of course. It would look first of all, it would look very strange if BF doesn't testify. I mean, that would look really bad. I mean, because MSM, one of the two survivors isn't going to testify at their own trial. How is that going to fucking look? That's going to look horrible. Come on. Yeah, I mean, we call that optics, right? That's what we call that. That would look bad. Just would. So, of course, she's going to have to testify. She may not like it. She may not want to. But, hey, tough fucking shit, love. Tough fucking shit, Lily White. If you're totally innocent, well, then you got nothing to fucking worry about, then, do you? Right? If you're totally innocent, you had nothing to do with this crime. You're an innocent survivor, right? Those are lovely words, guys. Innocent survivor. Lovely words. Then you have nothing to worry about. What are you worrying about? Of course you're going to come back and testify. You're going to be, what are you going to be? You're going to be confident, right? You're going to be confident. You're going to be strong. You're going to be, fucking cocky maybe. I don't know. But you're not going to be fucking, fucking scared. Right? Why would you be scared to come back? Why would you be scared to come back and testify? If this is truly the guy that did it, BK, then you'd be fucking probably rearing to go back, wouldn't you? Think about it, guys. My lovelies. Wouldn't you be rearing to go back and nail this fucker? If this was the guy. If BK was the guy, BK, yeah, we'll get there. We'll get into him. We haven't talked much about Mr. BK, but we will. We will. But, with Bethany and with Dylan, you'd be chomping at the fucking bit to go back, wouldn't you? Fuck yeah, you would. Fuck yeah, you would. If you knew in your heart of hearts that he was the guy, and he was the, he killed all your fucking friends, didn't he? They were your friends, right? Right? Weren't they your friends? Weren't they? You said they were your friends. You loved them, didn't you? But why would you be afraid to go back and testify? Why? No. Stanley, why would these two be afraid to testify? They'd be wanting to go back. They'd be asking, fuck yeah, put me on the next flight. That's what they'd be saying, wouldn't they? They'd be saying, put me on the next flight. I'm fucking raring to go. Where are my interviews? Stanley the Twink, they call me. Stanley the Twink. You know what I did when I was young? You know what I did? When I was in neighborhoods? You know what I would do? You know what Stanley would do to dolls? Oh my God. Stanley the Twink, they called me. When I was 8 years old, they called me the Twink. And guess what I did? Starting at 8 years old, guys. All right, Stanley, do I have to draw a circle? All right, come on now. Stanley, rein it in. I don't want to have to draw no protective circle here, all right? I don't want to lock you away, all right? I'm letting you out for a reason, all right? Tyrone, you know what that reason is, don't you? Well, actually, now that you mention it, Master, that's a nice segue. We are running a special now, Master Nature and the rest of the crew here. We are running a $2.99 a month special because, $2.99 has a nice ring to it, and that's still kind of high, but whatever. It's still a learning curve. See, that's what they call a learning curve, right? Anyway, $2.99 a month. Remember now, gets you access to all four, not just Master Nature. Oh God, I don't know why you. Excuse me, Master Nature. Well, MD, if you like rocks and trees and tragedy, I guess. Like tragedy. Well, Tyrone, of course, if you're into love. Of course, my lilies, all my lilies are into love. Oh my God, all of them. Well, in my lads. No, not my lads. What do I call you now? I don't even know what the fuck to call you in my lovelies. my lords. Well, I don't know. I don't got too many more for the dudes. Well, yeah, dudes. But then we got honey lily, sugar lily, honey plums. What do we got? Dragon fruit. Oh my god. Don't even get me started on dragon fruit. Oh my lord. Dragon fruit? Are you kidding me? Oh my god. Anyway, hey, you know what? It ain't midnight. All right, that is all right. Anyway, back to my promotion of $2.99 a month. Well, it gets you access. Well, I just said me, and then Stanley. Stanley. This is for this is for how do I put it? For all the others, all the other people out there, where the fuck we are, I don't even know. But anyway, so don't be afraid to say I want Tyrone for a love reading. All right, that's the promotion. All right, bye for now. Thanks, Tyrone. That was a pretty good one. Pretty good promotion, Tyrone. Anyway, where were we? Yeah. So, BF. Yes. So, on the stand, have you been with Dylan all night? You guys were together the whole night and morning? Yes. And you were both in the same house together? Yes. What time did you get home that night? Okay. Yeah. Here we go. Right? Were you there? Yeah. Were you with Dylan the whole night? Yes. What time did you get home? Okay, here's where it starts. You could go back. You could be like, "Oh, what did you do?" You want to establish that. If you can, you want her to walk you through what she did. If you can get away with it, tell me what you did from 1:30 a.m. until till you got home, or whatever. 1:30 a.m. until 3. How's that? What were you doing? Same with Dylan, of course. You want to ask her that. But that's another story. All right. Anyway. So, yeah. Establish time. When did you get home? What were you doing? Blah, blah, blah. What was, when did Dylan, I would ask her this. What made you, what made you, no. What was the first thing that alarmed you in the situation that you were in? Well, I would ask her that. What was the first thing that alarmed you? Tell me about that. What was the very first thing that alarmed you while you were in that house that night? Bam. Bam. That's a bam. If you can get away with that question, what alarmed you? Well, Dylan told me blah, 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 right? All right. We're going to leave it there, but think about it. Now she's on a stand. Now we'll get a little deeper, right? But just she's on the stand. You're asking her questions, right? What would you want to establish with her? We don't know the grand jury testimony, so we're kind of winging it. But remember though, however, guys, and Alyssa Hippler if Hitler wrote this wrong, okay, in his orders, there's a part about, he writes about the grand jury testimony, and he writes it about Dylan, and he writes it about Bethany. And he says, and I think, that, I don't know, unless he wrote this incorrectly in the order, which is quite possible for this fucking Idaho potato corrupt motherfucker, that there was no more grand jury testimony. There was no more testimony between these two from the hours between 4:37 and like, I think 11:45. And the way I read that was there's no more grand jury testimony at all between this time frame with these two. That's the way I read it. Now, I could have read it wrong. Correct me, but because this, well, the potato, the corrupt potato doesn't know how to write a fucking story like I keep telling everybody. He doesn't. But anyway, so I took that to mean like they didn't testify to anything between this time frame. Between the two of them. Like, hard to explain what I'm trying to say here. But go back to that. There's a portion of that where there's no communication between 4:30 and 11 in the grand jury testimony between Dylan and Bethany. I swear to God, that's what he writes. Anyway, we'll pick it up. All right. Love you all, Lil. I know it's a long one. Now, but stay with me. You know, Master Nature is where it's at. Just stick with me. Okay, bye-bye.